Pike's pioneers have faced constant danger since arriving to Acropolis. Down a drill master, Pike orders his comrades to take the offensive. They will put it all on the line in a key matchup with House Escher in the scenario, Takeover. It's coming up next as MGM presents Ashes of Acropolis.
Alright, welcome back Necromunda fans to Miniature Game Montage, episode 26 of the campaign. Today we have the Ironhead Prospectors in a matchup with the ladies of House Escher. The campaign table has been updated in the cut line where theoretically the Prospectors are still in the hunt. However, a loss today would see them eliminated. The Howling Banshees of House Escher look to improve to above 500 and sour any chances for the Prospectors. Okay, the Prospectors are short a Melta today as they do have a Drill Master in recovery. With 70 credits, they elect to bring in another body and equip him with an Ironhead pistol and dum-dum rounds. These rounds are also passed out to Ullman. The Howling Banshees are at full strength today. Two sisters buy las guns with hotshot packs to back up their plasma guns in case of failure. Queen Sable increases her cool by 1 through an advancement. The Death Maiden Lilith becomes toughness 5 through an advancement. The Mistress adds 1 to her movement, going to 7 inches. Other advancements see Jax and Blythe increase their willpower. Trist gets a toughness increase. As we look at the scenario today, we're playing Takeover, and the Ironhead will be responsible for capturing 3 strategic objectives across the map. Crews are custom and random 10, but everyone is going to participate. For deployment, the Ironhead will get Surprise Assault and will deploy first. House Escher will set up 3 landmarks. In this one, no more than 18 inches from the center, and no closer than 12 inches to another marker. The objective for the Ironhead is to capture these landmarks by getting more fighters within 3 inches of them. Once a landmark has been captured, it remains in control of the Prospectors. For tactics cards, we're looking for 2 for House Escher and 3 for the Ironhead due to Underdog. This battle will end at the end of round 10 if both gangs manage to go that long. The Ironhead need to force House Escher off the board or take the 3 landmarks to claim victory today. As always, thank you so much for watching. Let's get down to the action as we watch turn 1 unfold. And as we gear up for turn 1, you can see the objectives laid out. This did make the Prospectors select that left side as they're going to be close to 2 objectives. Up first, we see the Exo Driller using both actions to move. Star will be up first for House Escher as she uses both actions to move as well. The Ironhead activate Pfluger. He is going to use both of his actions to move as he manages to get on top of the lift. The little sister Terra is going to activate, electing to move twice as she moves down the Escher left flank. Ullman activates for the Prospectors using both of his actions to move to the lift. Jax activates next. She is the sister specialist, toting a plasma gun. She moves up along behind Terra. We then see Grom moving twice as he gets to the bottom of the ladder. We move back to House Escher where Pixie is going to move twice. Up next for the Ironhead, we have Thoradin moving forward with his Ironhead bolt gun. Trist is going to activate next. She is now at toughness 4 with an advancement. The Chartermaster Pike activates next and moves forward. The Matriarch Cirrus, toting a plasma gun, uses both of her actions to move. The Prospectors activate Jarl, sending him forward, and he will pass on his next action. The Howling Banshees send Blythe forward with 2 moves. The rest of the activations belonging to House Escher. Queen Sable moves forward, and then over on their right flank we do have the Death Maidens that are moving as well. Both Death Maidens move forward one behind the other, looking to protect this back objective at all costs. Turn 1 comes to a close. No shots fired, just moving around. and it does appear that the Ironhead Prospectors are going to be within 2 objectives potentially on the next turn. House Escher has deployed 2 Death Maidens to protect one of their objectives. They do have Sisters moving up the middle and 2 Plasma Guns creeping down the left flank. Priority rolls for turn 2, and we see House Escher will be up. The Matriarch Cirrus is going to activate moving forward to the corner. She is then going to aim her Plasma Gun up at Jarl. She positions herself, dials her Plasma Gun up to max, and fires with a ballistic skill of 2. Jarl is getting some cover, so will require 3s to hit, and the shot is going to miss. An ammo check is immediately required, and that is going to be failed. Will then roll because the gun is unstable, see if anything happens to her. Luckily for Cirrus, the gun does not explode in her face. Meanwhile, Jarl returns fire and lands 6 hits on his activation with rapid fire 3. He wounds 5 times, needing 3s, rips through her flak armor with AP 1, and injury dice roll out, and she's going out of action. In an injury roll coming out here, we are just rolling 1 injury roll. That's a house roll. It's a 65, which is critical. The champion is taken out, and Jarl, with his Suspenser, still has another action. He is going to move back. And a devastating opening exchange of fire between these 2 gangs. Next we see the Specialist Jax move forward with her Plasma Gun, and she is targeting Grom. She's just outside of 12, hits on 4s, and the shot is going to miss. Instead of returning fire, Grom is going to use both of his actions to climb the ladder, getting within 3 inches to potentially secure this landmark. The turn swings back to House Escher as Star uses an action to move. She then targets the Chartermaster Pike. She fires with her last gun, but the shot misses. The Exo Driller commands the next activation. He's going to use an action to move. His second is going to be to open the door, and he will be within 3 inches of the landmark here. The key to claiming these landmarks, however, is to hold them at the end of the turn. As we go back to House Escher, Pixie is going to activate. She is going to move forward, getting into a firing position. She can see Grom across the way and lets loose with her last gun with a hot shot pack. It does miss, however. Back to the Prospectors, Pfluger is going to activate, use an action to activate the lift. His second action is going to be to move forward. And that should have just been a 4-inch move. He did move twice. Up next, Blythe is going to activate. She moves to the top of the stairs, and she is going to target Pfluger with her last gun. She fires, and her shot is going to miss. An ammo check is required because of the hot shot pack, and it is good. Up next, we have Ullman, who is going to use both of his actions to move as he races toward the center. The sister Blythe activates next, and much like the sisters beside her, she moves forward and starts to line up a shot with her last gun. Short range is offset by some cover, and she misses. And all the last gun shots proving to be ineffective here against the Prospectors as they move forward. Next up we have Pike, the Chartermaster, who is going to move to the lift and activate it. Back to House Escher, the Queen, Sable, is going to use an action to move forward, and her second will be to open the door. Next up, Thornton desperately wants to return fire at the plasma-toting sister. Instead, he elects to use both actions to climb the ladder. House Escher then sends the little sister Terra forward with 2 moves as she positions herself at the bottom of this ladder. Remaining activations belong to House Escher as 2 of the Death Maidens go screaming up the center, potentially looking to go on the offensive. And after these moves, the turn will conclude, as it has become apparent what the Ironhead Prospectors are looking to do. They officially secure 2 of the 3 landmarks needed to win this game, and if they can throw fighters forward to get through the 2 Death Maidens, they stand a chance at getting a quick victory today. Getting through the 2 Death Maidens, however, is going to be no easy feat. House Escher guns proving to be very ineffective in this round, and they had one of their matriarchs taken off the board. With turn 3 inbound, the Prospectors activate Pfluger, sending him forward. He then elects to fire his pistol, but he misses the Death Maiden. Jax then activates for House Escher as she moves forward with an action. She then elects to fire up, targeting Grom. The shot from her plasma gun is true on a 6. She then rolls to wound, getting another 6. The armor piercing shreds his armor, and an injury roll sends him to the ground with a serious injury. 2 nearby cool checks are required, and both are going to be passed. Grom did roll up for 2 serious injuries there, so one will be counted, the other will count as a flesh wound. In retaliation, the Ironhead Prospectors nominate Thornton to go next. He moves forward with an action, and he is going to unload with his Ironhead bolter, targeting the Death Maiden. He declares finest craftsmanship, rolling and missing. He needs 5, so he does get a reroll, and it does convert into a hit twice, but he only rolled 1 firepower dice. A 2+ initiative is good to prevent falling. She is toughness 4, so 4 is needed to wound. One of them will convert. 6-up save with mesh armor is failed, and that's going to be injury dice coming out for her. It is a serious injury with 2 damage. And a massive shot from Thornton will trigger a reaction as Blythe looks to fire at Pfluger and lands a hit. Ammo check required and is failed due to the hotshot pack. A 5-up initiative is failed and he will fall off the catwalk. The wound roll is no good. But smacking the pavement, he is wounded and he doesn't have any armor, so he goes out of action on an injury roll. The result of the D66 is critical, and things are really starting to heat up between these 2 gangs. In the next moves, the Exo Driller is going to activate. He is going to move twice. Pixie then elects to fire, and she has Thornton in short range, taking it down to a 3. She aims to a 2, but he does get partial cover, so this will be a 3 to hit net. The shot hits, but it fails to wound at strength 4. He's not close enough to the edge to take a check. The Prospectors activate their champion Jarl as he lumbers forward to the edge. Elects to fire his heavy stubber. He is wearing a suspensor, so he can do this. Rapid fire 3, targeting Jax with her plasma gun. He hits 4 times, rapid fire 3. The ammo check that he rolled up is good, and all the wounds are good. Jax becomes laden with bullets, and it cuts through her armor. She goes down, out of action, rolling up a 45. It's a hand injury as Jarl successfully takes down his second plasma-toting fighter. Meanwhile, Trist is going to roll around the corner and just hold tight, not looking to get into Jarl's vision. Ullman uses his action to move over to help a friend, as Star is going to use both of her actions to begin to retreat. We then go over to the Chartermaster Pike as he uses both of his actions to move. Remaining moves will be for House Escher, and they are going to look to move their little sister Angel. As she is down at the bottom of the ladder, she is going to move to the lift. Behind her, the Queen uses both of her actions to move as well, getting up top. One of the Death Maidens is going to crawl 3.5 inches. The second Death Maiden is going to adjust just slightly to get in recovery range. And an action-packed turn will conclude, as House Escher was able to take one of the Prospectors off the board. They did seriously injure another. House Escher now unfortunately down 2 plasma weapons, which is going to be pretty key in this game with the increased toughness of the Ironhead. Bottle check for the Prospectors is good. They are at risk at this point. The first recovery roll, he'll stay down with a serious injury. The Death Maiden will do the same, lucky to get an assist there. Dice collide on the priority as we gear up for turn 4. And House Escher is going to risk it right here as they do a group activation. The Queen moves to the lift and then uses her second action to activate it. Rain of Blades is played for a free charge, but she only gets 1 inch and the little sister will check up just short. She was looking to charge in and take a fighter off the board that was seriously injured. She does still have 2 actions. Due to Rain of Blades, she elects to fire her last pistol with an aim. Her shot easily finds the mark, getting that +2 modifier at short range. An initiative check is going to be passed on a 5, so he stays put. The wound roll is no good, however. And the risk didn't pay off, nothing short of a disaster, as Jarl aims his Ironhead stubber first, targeting the Queen. She's hit with 6 bullets, and 3 of them end up causing a wound. She does save 1 with an armor save, going down pinned. Injury rolls are going to send her down with a serious injury and 2 flesh wounds applied. Sable does pass an initiative check to prevent falling as Trist moves up the stairs. She's going to fire her last gun across to the catwalk. Her shot through partial cover, however, is going to miss. The Exo Driller activates next for the Prospectors, using both actions to move. Star activates as she moves to the back corner of the board, looking to go up to the 2nd and 3rd level. Next, Ullman is going to stand with an action, use his 2nd to fire his Ironhead stub gun at the Little Sister. He does land a hit, rapid fire 3. Initiative check is going to be taken and passed easily on that 6. There will be no wound, however. House Escher then activates Blythe. She successfully passes a reroll, and then she'll use her 2nd action to move around the corner. Up next, Thornton gets to his feet with an action. His 2nd is to fire his Ironhead bolter. He misses. He needs 4s, using Lucky Shot to get a reroll here, and it looks like that is going to convert with 3 hits onto Trist. She is toughness 4, and only 1 wound will go through. This is going to be enough, however, as it cuts through her armor and takes her down with a serious injury. Initiative check is good. While seeing that unfold, Pixie elects to aim her last gun and fire short range, so anything but a 1. She lands a hit, but it does not wound. Thornton, who just got to his feet, goes down pinned again. No initiative check required on this one. Up next, Pike elects to charge into the Little Sister, Terra, and he can't fail this. He gets into combat, misses with his sidearm, but lands 2 with his power fist. They easily wound. And the poor Little Sister doesn't stand a chance. She goes out of action immediately. The Little Sister will go into convalescence on the roll of a 36, and it looks like the Chartermaster is going to use this opportunity to consolidate. Up next for House Escher, they do squeeze a Death Maiden back into cover as the other Death Maiden, seriously injured, elects to crawl to get the assist on recovery. And that's another turn in the books, and we've got a wild one on our hands here. Still not sure which way this game is going to go. Bottle test now owed for both gangs. House Escher will be good, but the Prospectors are going to fail a bottle test. We have seen in the past, though, they're pretty good at sticking around. Recovery rolls going out. The Death Maiden stays down with a serious injury. Trist has no assist, ends up taking a 2nd flesh wound. We look over at Sable. She is going to bleed out. She's going to have multiple injuries. As we move over to the Prospectors, Grom, he is going to roll up and be able to stand on the next round. Everyone using Pike's cool. He's good on a 5+. Absolutely fine, and looks like the Prospectors will be up for turn 5. And with the initiative, Thornton gets to his feet, and he is going to fire that Ironhead bolter, connecting twice. The roll to wound needs 3s at strength 4. He does get 1. This will bypass her armor, and 2 injury dice come out. It looks like Pixie will suffer 2 flesh wounds going down pinned. Alongside her, Pixie isn't able to do anything for Trist, who is down seriously injured, electing to fire her last gun, targeting Thoradin. She lands a hit on anything but 1 short range. That converts to a wound. The armor save is failed, and an injury roll sends Thoradin down with a serious injury. Cool checks are required. Pike is good, Ullman is good, but Grom is going to fail and become broken. Now Grom should stand and make a run for cover here. We'll correct this in just a minute, but what a shot from Pixie. As we flip back to the Prospectors, Jarl has identified that he can still see the Death Maiden, who is down seriously injured. He fires with his heavy stubber and he hits 4 times. An ammo check is good, but she has toughness 5, so he'll need 5s in order to wound her. He does get 2. AP1 cuts through the mesh, requiring 6s, 3 injury dice come out, and she goes out of action. A nearby cool check is passed, but Jarl really doing a lot of work with his heavy stubber. We are going to see a pass on an activation here from Trist. She remains seriously injured. The Prospectors move Ullman to help out Thornton, who is down with a serious injury. We then see Star moving up to the catwalk. The Exo Driller activates next and continues to lumber across the board. Up next, we see one of the sisters get to her feet, and she elects to fire her last gun. She does land a hit. An ammo check is required and failed, so the gun does jam up. The roll to wound is good, but the armor save is made. And she was targeting the leader, Pike, his mesh armor, AP1, giving him a 6-up save, which was successful. Up next for the Prospectors, we do remember that we have to take Grom, stand, and make him run for being broken. We then allow them to activate as they stand Pike and move him. The Death Maiden is going to pass, staying out of line of sight. With the turn over, House Escher is going to bottle. Thornton, who we just saw, is going to get up with a flesh wound. Trist is going to take another flesh wound here. Grom is going to successfully rally as he has a cool of 5. Both gangs are now bottled, so it really just comes down to who wants to stick around. Pike is good. The Death Maiden is good. Star, however, is going to flee the battlefield. A few of the remaining sisters also flee the battlefield as well. As we look to turn 6, the back half of the game, the Prospectors will take it, and again, showing where some of the fighters have left. Star ended up fleeing the battlefield on some of those rolls. It's still anyone's game, but now feeling that the game is shifting toward the Prospectors as they activate first, sending Ullman forward as a screen. Trist, who is down to just a toughness of 1, will pass while Pike moves up behind Ullman. We do see 2 reload attempts, with the second being successful. Jarl then positions himself and opens fire. This time, however, his heavy stubber will miss at long range. The Death Maiden, not wanting to risk a charge, moves forward. She is armed with a needle pistol, aims it at Ullman, and opens fire. She lands a hit at short range. The toxin roll is going to be successful. He doesn't have any armor on, so we go straight to an injury roll, and it is a serious injury. Nearby cool check is passed. Ullman does fail his initiative check, however, and plummets down to the bottom, smacks the concrete, takes a wound, and he goes out of action. A 33 is the result as we swing back to the Prospectors. The Ironhead play Ironhead Vengeance, and the Chartermaster opens fire, hits with his pistol, does a wound. The armor save is failed, and he puts a wound onto the Death Maiden. No initiative check required for the Death Maiden. That tactics card allows a Prospector to shoot within line of sight after a friend has been taken out of action. Next up, we see the Exo Driller as he moves twice. We then have Thornton, who is going to get to his feet. He is going to move into some cover. And then we have Grom, recently rallied. He is going to go back up top to the catwalk. As we move into the end phase, Trist is going to bleed out, rolling a 22 on the injury chart. Pike is good on his cool check, spreads that around. Jarl is going to require a cool check as well. He is good, but the Exo Driller is going to fail and flee the battlefield. The Death Maiden passes her cool. Trist does flee the battlefield as well. As we look to turn 7, the initiative rolls are so important here, and this one is going to go over to House Escher. And immediately the Death Maiden takes an initiative roll to spring up. That is successful on a 2+. She is then going to charge into contact. Base 3 attack, +1 for a sidearm, +1 for the charge. And she hits on 2s as she charges into Pike. She then rolls for Toxin, re-rolling 1s due to poison blood, and she connects with 3 of them. Pike has 3 wounds, but it doesn't matter, and he rolls up for an out of action. A 46 on the lasting injury table, Pike taken off the board. They then play Mistress of Death, making her active again. A nearby cool check is passed as Thoradin aims his Ironhead bolter and fires, hitting 4 times. He wounds twice, needing 5s. The armor saves are going to be no good, rerolling 1 for a cock die here. And Thoradin sends the Death Maiden down with a serious injury. She also takes numerous flesh wounds, rolls an initiative check to stay put, and all she can do with her second activation is crawl. Grom activates next, moves twice as he stomps forward towards the Death Maiden. It's the end of turn 7. The Death Maiden is heavily wounded. She will roll back over, taking a flesh wound. And that's her 4th flesh wound. She does have a toughness of 5. She is going to stay around passing her cool check. The Prospectors owe cool checks as well, first rolling up for Grom, and he's good. We then roll up for Thoradin. He fails, needing a 6. We roll up for Jarl, and he fails as well. Both sides are now down to a single fighter. The most pivotal initiative roll of the campaign, getting ready to come up. If House Escher wins, the Death Maiden can potentially spring up and charge. If the Prospectors win, they can potentially eliminate the Death Maiden. The Ironhead are going to win the initiative, and he is going to elect to aim and fire, hitting on anything but a 1. He hits 4 times. The ammo check is good. He needs 3s to wound. He gets 2. Mesh armor can't stop all the damage, and she is going to go down with a serious injury. An initiative check is taken, and she plummets to the bottom, smacks the concrete. There's no wound, and she will lay on the floor seriously injured as the turn comes to an end. The Death Maiden is going to take her 5th flesh wound as she bleeds out at the bottom, and the Ironhead Prospectors did pass a cool test to remain in the game as well. The Ironhead Prospectors are going to come away with a victory today. And what a game. What a game we just saw. It came down to 2 fighters at the very end and an initiative roll to determine the fate of the Prospectors moving forward. They are going to stay in the hunt. I can't say enough about this one. We've got the post-game report coming up. Alright, really hope you enjoyed that one. We had a ton of fun making it. I hope you stayed around this long, because the Ironhead, I really thought they were going to run away with this game. I knew they had to get through the 2 Death Maidens, and House Escher didn't necessarily make it easy. I think when Jarl lined up on that shot and took out that first Death Maiden, you really could feel that they were going to run away with it. But then they had some fighters that shot off the board, and lo and behold, you are left with 1 fighter remaining on each side. That is crazy. I'm not sure how many times we've seen that, if we have seen something like that. The last 2 battle reports that we have done for Necromunda have just been incredible. I will try to do a scenario review on the website, miniaturegamemontage.com. I really like this scenario. Kind of traditional, where it has the 3 objectives and both gangs are kind of fighting over them. And this one, the attacker just had to get near the objectives. The way we set the objectives first before allowing deployment sides, that way to make it a little more fair, because you can, deploy these objectives in just really tight spots if you really wanted to. So we deployed the objectives first and then allowed sides to be picked. The goal, of course, with the objectives was to give 2 kind of easy ones to force them up on the catwalk and then try to make them come across at the Death Maidens, and that's exactly what did happen. It just, House Escher got really unlucky with a lot of their rolls, especially if you watched early on. They missed a lot of last gun shots. They missed plasma shots as well, and Jarl, with his heavy stubber, he gets man of the match despite running, because he took down 2 of the plasma gangers. He just did a ton of work. The Suspenser he's equipped with, really good, allows him to move and shoot with his heavy stubber. The Ironhead are going to walk away today with just 2 hobbled injuries, which is pretty significant for them as they are slower to begin with. House Escher saw numerous injuries, and if they were continuing in the campaign, this would make it really difficult for them to recover from. They did throw everything they had against these Prospectors, hoping to bring them down, but it did not work out for them today. But again, thank you so much for watching. Supporters Club, your names are on the screen now. That's by no means necessary. I ask for absolutely nothing. If you've watched the video this far, you've done more than enough to support the channel, so thank you so much. We're going to see the Prospectors up again as they continue to plug away, potentially looking to get a three-way game for the finish. We'll see what happens. Once again, thanks so much, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.